Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this video today, there's a good chance you've heard about the exciting news coming from Social Security. In fact, you might be wondering what this $5,460 final round in January 2025 means for you, your family, or even your neighbors. Is it a one-time boost, or are there bigger changes to come? Well, you're in the right place to get all the details. In this video, we'll dive deep into the changes taking place in Social Security, why this increase is happening, and how it will impact millions of Americans who rely on this vital program for financial security. We'll also look at some important long-term considerations for those planning for the future. But first, let's break down what Social Security is all about and why this new adjustment is getting so much attention. Social Security is a federal program that provides financial support to retired Americans, disabled individuals, and survivors of deceased workers. It's one of the most important social safety nets in the United States, and for millions of people, it's a lifeline. Whether you're just starting to think about your own retirement or you're already receiving Social Security benefits, understanding how it works and why it's adjusting is key to navigating your financial future. Today, we're talking about the final round of Social Security increases in January 2025, a move that will push benefits up to $5,460 a month for qualifying recipients. But what's behind this? Why is the government making this move now, and how will it impact the people who rely on it most? Let's start by going over the basics of Social Security itself. Social Security was established in 1935 during the Great Depression, signed into law by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The goal was to create a program that would provide financial assistance to elderly Americans, those with disabilities, and the survivors of workers who had passed away. In its early years, Social Security was a modest program, but over time, it grew into a much larger safety net that covers nearly every American worker today. If you've worked in the U.S. and paid into Social Security through payroll taxes, you are eligible for benefits when you reach a certain age or if you become disabled. Most people associate Social Security with retirement, but it's much more than that. The program also offers disability benefits to those who are unable to work due to illness or injury, as well as survivor benefits for the families of deceased workers. The amount you receive is based on your work history and the taxes you've paid into the system. For example, if you've had a long career with high earnings, your monthly benefit will be higher than someone who worked part-time or had a lower wage history. Social Security is incredibly important for a huge portion of the U.S. population. In fact, it's the primary source of income for many older Americans, especially those who may not have saved enough in other retirement accounts. According to recent studies, over one-third of all retirees rely on Social Security as their primary source of income. And for about 1 in 5 Americans, Social Security accounts for over half of their total income. But here's the kicker: Social Security is also a vital safety net for people with disabilities and those who've lost a spouse or parent. It's not just for the elderly. In 2023, about 8.3 million Americans with disabilities were receiving Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, benefits. And on top of that, nearly 6 million Americans were receiving benefits as survivors of deceased workers. In short, Social Security serves as a critical program for many different groups within the American population. Now that we've got the basics down, let's dive into what everyone's been talking about: the January 2025 increase in Social Security payments. This adjustment is set to send out up to $5,460 per month for certain beneficiaries. But who exactly qualifies for this amount, and why is this increase happening now? Let's break it down. The $5,460 figure represents the maximum monthly payment someone can receive from Social Security, and this amount is reserved for people who have earned the highest wages during their working years. This final round of payments is part of a larger annual cost of living adjustment, COLA, that Social Security benefits undergo every year to keep pace with inflation. But this increase is particularly noteworthy because it's one of the largest COLA increases in recent history. So, what's driving this surge? First and foremost, inflation has been a major issue for the American economy in recent years. With prices for basic goods and services skyrocketing, especially following the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has had to adjust Social Security payments to ensure that people's benefits keep pace with the rising cost of living. The average Social Security recipient had been facing higher prices for food, housing, healthcare, and utilities, all of which eat into their fixed monthly income. By adjusting the payments, the government is attempting to mitigate the negative effects of inflation on Social Security recipients. So, why exactly did the government decide to increase Social Security benefits by such a large amount? To understand that, we need to take a look at the current economic climate. Over the past few years, the U.S. has faced some unprecedented economic challenges. Inflation has been at its highest levels in decades. In 2022, the inflation rate hit 9.1%, which was the highest it had been since 1981. While inflation rates have since tapered off, the impact has still been felt across the board, with higher costs for groceries, gas, and other everyday expenses. Because Social Security benefits are designed to adjust for inflation, the government has taken these rising prices into account when determining the new benefit amounts. The January 2025 adjustment is essentially an attempt to help beneficiaries maintain their purchasing power and prevent their benefits from losing value. For seniors, people with disabilities, and survivors, this increase couldn't have come at a better time. Another major factor behind this increase is the ongoing recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. In the aftermath of the pandemic, millions of Americans saw their incomes drop, especially in industries that were hit hardest by lockdowns and social distancing measures. While many have returned to work, the economic damage caused by the pandemic continues to reverberate, and Social Security benefits have had to be adjusted accordingly to provide greater relief. Let's talk about the specifics of this increase. The $5,460 final round represents the maximum benefit amount for Social Security recipients. But not everyone will see this full amount. The average beneficiary will receive a smaller payment, typically around $1,600 per month, depending on their work history and other factors. However, the increase is still significant for those receiving lower amounts, as it will help them cover the rising costs of living. The $5,460 figure comes into play for those who have worked and contributed at the highest possible levels to the system. These are the individuals who had higher earnings throughout their careers, often over the course of several decades. They may have also delayed claiming their benefits until they reached the age of 70, which allows them to receive the maximum benefit amount. If you're nearing retirement or you've already started receiving benefits, it's important to understand where you fall on this scale so you can plan accordingly. Now that we know why the increase is happening, let's talk about what it means for you. If you're already receiving Social Security benefits, you'll want to keep an eye on the amount you're receiving each month, as this increase will likely help ease some of the financial pressure that many people have been feeling. It's a welcome relief for those who may have been struggling to make ends meet. This additional income could help cover rising healthcare costs, home repairs, or simply provide more breathing room in your monthly budget. For those of you who are years away from retirement, this increase is a sign of things to come. If you're planning for your future, understanding how inflation impacts your benefits is crucial. It's important to know that Social Security is adjusted for inflation each year, but that doesn't always mean you're going to see a huge bump in your monthly payment. So, while the $5,460 final round is a big increase, it's not guaranteed that this trend will continue indefinitely. Looking to the future, there are some important questions surrounding Social Security. With an aging population and a shrinking workforce, the program faces long-term financial challenges. According to the Social Security Administration, the trust fund that supports Social Security benefits is projected to run out of money by 2034. That's not to say that Social Security will disappear entirely, but without intervention, the program could face cuts or benefit reductions. This means that future beneficiaries, including many of you watching, may not receive the same level of benefits that today's retirees are receiving. The good news is that lawmakers are aware of these issues, and there are ongoing discussions about how to shore up Social Security for future generations. So, to sum up everything we've discussed today, the January 2025 Social Security increase of $5,460 represents a significant adjustment to help beneficiaries keep up with the rising cost of living. This boost is a reflection of the economic pressures we've been experiencing over the last few years, particularly with inflation and the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. If you're already receiving benefits, this increase will provide much-needed relief. If you're planning for the future, it's a good reminder to keep track of changes to Social Security and ensure that you're on track for a secure retirement. Remember, Social Security is just one piece of your financial puzzle, so it's essential to have a comprehensive plan in place. Make sure to consult with financial experts, keep an eye on policy changes, and continue saving for the future. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from this information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.